The roar of flames echoed through the shattered remnants of the city, an inferno that consumed everything in its path. The ground trembled beneath Adrian's boots as he faced the infernal storm before him. A sword of blue fire crackled in his hands, its blade slicing through the air with an almost divine force. His eyes, once soft and human, now glowed with a fierce intensity, like twin embers ready to burn the world. In the distance, a figure emerged, her wings stretching wide, a fallen star, the embodiment of a power so ancient and evil it had the strength to tear the heavens apart. But Adrian wasn't afraid. His body was covered in the scars of war, a testament to the battles he'd fought to protect the kingdom he loved, and the woman he had sworn to protect. Seline, the vampire princess who had once been his enemy. But now, as his blade met the dark magic of the fallen star, their fates were sealed. He was not the man who had married her for peace. He was something more, something beyond human. The fallen star's roar split the sky, sending waves of energy rolling across the ruins like tidal storms of darkness. Every stone, every shattered tower, every dying flame trembled under its power. But amidst the destruction, Adrian stood his ground, his fiery sword blazing like the last light of a dying sun. Behind him, the air shimmered cold, ancient, and powerful. Seline appeared, her wings unfurled from the shadow like a tempest, the crimson glow of her eyes piercing the smoke-filled sky. The wind bent around her, bowing, as if even nature itself dared not disobey her presence. Her armor, obsidian laced with veins of scarlet, gleamed with a terrifying beauty. But her face held fear. Not for herself, for him. Adrian, she called, her voice cutting through the roar of war. You cannot face it alone. Its power is growing, far beyond what we expected. Adrian didn't turn fully. He only shifted enough for Seline to see the faintest curve of a smile on his hardened, battle-worn face. I'm not alone, he said. You're here. The fallen star screeched, a sound like metal screaming as it tears apart. Its wings expanded, releasing a storm of black fire that twisted through the battlefield, consuming everything in its path. Seline darted forward, shadows swirling at her feet. She raised her hand and slammed a barrier of blood magic into place, the crimson shield sizzling as it absorbed the dark flames. But the force was overwhelming. Cracks spread across the shield like spiderwebs. Adrian, fall back. Seline shouted. Its core has awakened. If it releases that power, this entire realm will collapse. Adrian stepped beside her, the blue blaze of his sword illuminating his determined expression. That's why we end it now. His voice held something Seline hadn't heard before, something deeper than courage, heavier than duty. Destiny. She looked at him, really looked, and realized the truth she had been avoiding since the day she married him for peace. The man she married was never ordinary, and the path he walked was never meant to be human. The ground shook violently. The fallen star slammed its claws into the earth, its molten eyes swirling with cosmic fury. Chunks of burning sky fell like meteors. Adrian raised his sword. Seline extended her wings. Together, they charged. But the moment their feet left the ground, reality twisted. The sky tore open like a wound. Time blurred. A pulse, ancient and monstrous, rippled outward. And everything vanished. Darkness swallowed them whole. Adrian's eyes snapped open, not to darkness, but to silence. A suffocating, endless silence that felt older than existence itself. He stood on ground that wasn't truly ground. Shifting shadows beneath his feet formed vague shapes, only to dissolve as soon as he tried to focus. There was no sky, no horizon, just a vast expanse of shifting black mist. Seline. Adrian called out. His voice didn't echo. It didn't travel. It simply existed for a moment, and then died, as if the realm refused to carry sound. He tightened his grip on his sword. The blue flame dimmed in this void, swallowed by an unseen force that seemed to drain life from everything. Then, a whisper. Soft, cold, ancient. Adrian. He spun around. Seline stood several feet away, her wings folded tightly, her expression shaken in a way Adrian had never seen. She wasn't just afraid. She was terrified, but not of him, of the place. Where are we? He asked. Seline swallowed, her gaze darting around the void. This realm. I know it. I've heard the oldest elders speak of it in frightened whispers. She stepped closer, her voice trembling. This is the abyss between stars. The place where fallen souls drift when torn from reality. Adrian frowned. But we aren't dead. No, she said, her eyes glowing faintly. But the fallen star dragged us into the place it was born, its cradle of power. As if summoned by her words, the mist trembled. Shapes formed, horrific silhouettes with hollow eyes and twisted limbs. Watching from the edges of the formless void, Adrian instinctively stepped in front of Seline. She touched his arm gently. They won't attack. Not yet. They are echoes. Fragments. This place is shaped by the will of the fallen star. And right now, it watches us. A low rumble spread through the abyss. The shadows twisted, rising into a towering figure 100 feet tall. Its molten cracks glowed like burning galaxies beneath its skin. Its voice seeped into their minds rather than their ears. Your struggle amuses me. Adrian's jaw clenched. Come face me then. The fallen star's laughter shook the realm. You misunderstand, human. You're not here to fight. You are here to break. Seline stepped past Adrian, her wings flaring open, her voice sharp as a blade. We will never break. The fallen star lowered its massive head, its molten eyes locking on her. Princess of the Nightblood, your ancestors made a pact with us eons ago. Your bloodline belongs to the abyss. And soon, your fate will align with ours once more. Seline's breath caught. Adrian didn't miss it. What pact? Adrian demanded. Seline didn't answer. Couldn't answer. The fallen star's whispers grew colder. She has not told you what she truly is. Adrian looked at Seline, confusion piercing him like a blade. Her eyes fell to the ground. Adrian, she whispered, there are things about me, about my lineage. I never wanted you to know. Not because I don't trust you, but because knowing them might destroy you. Adrian stepped closer, lowering his sword. Seline, whatever it is, whatever darkness you think will separate us, it won't. You hear me? She looked up, her voice trembling. I am bound to the abyss by birth. I am the last heir of the Nightblood Pact, and she took a breath, was never meant to live in the mortal world. Before Adrian could speak, the realm twisted violently. A crack of cosmic lightning split the void. The fallen star lifted its massive clawed hand. Let us show him what you truly are. Seline screamed, not in pain, but in fear, as shadows wrapped around her, pulling her upward. Her body convulsed, wings spreading far wider than before. Her armor cracked, revealing glowing veins of red light running beneath her skin like rivers of living fire. Adrian reached for her. Seline, but a wall of black energy slammed him back, sending him skidding across the abyssal floor. The shadows devoured her form, reshaping her, transforming her. When the darkness peeled away, Seline was no longer the princess he knew. She had become something else, something ancient, something terrifying. Her new wings were monstrous, stretching wider than the fallen star's own. Her eyes burned like twin crimson suns. Her voice echoed with power that could split worlds. And yet, a single tear ran down her cheek. Adrian, she whispered, her voice trembling despite the monstrous form. I didn't want you to see me like this. He rose slowly, breathing hard. I don't care what you look like, he said, gripping his sword. I care about who you are. But the fallen star's laughter drowned out their moment. Beautiful. Now let us see how long your love survives. When your princess is reborn as the Abyss-made queen. Adrian felt the weight of the abyss pressing against his chest, but he refused to look away from her, from Seline, even in her monstrous new form. The fallen star hovered above them like a god forged from collapsing suns, its molten cracks pulsing with cosmic hunger. A perfect creation, it whispered. The last Nightblood, reborn to rule the ruins of reality. Seline's wings spread with a sound like tearing thunder. Her new aura, an ocean of raw, ancient power, pulled the shadows toward her, drawn into her like a queen reclaiming her throne. Yet her expression, it was human, terrified, broken. Adrian, she whispered again, voice trembling despite the strength in her new form. I can feel it. The abyss, it's trying to take my mind. Adrian stepped closer, ignoring the way the abyss hissed around him, trying to dissolve him into nothingness. It won't, he said firmly, because I'm here, and I'm not letting them take you. Her breath caught. She looked away, eyes burning. You don't understand, Seline whispered. The Nightblood Pact wasn't a contract. It was a curse. My bloodline was made to become vessels, keys for the abyss to enter the living world. I was chosen the moment I was born. Adrian tightened his grip on the blazing sword. Then I'll destroy the abyss, he said. The fallen star's laughter rolled through the realm again, shaking the void like an earthquake. You, a human, destroy us. Its voice slithered like smoke. You cannot even understand the scope of our being. Adrian's eyes glowed brighter, the fire in his sword surging. I don't need to understand you, he growled. I just need to kill you. The fallen star snarled, the abyss around it rippling like a storm-tossed sea. Then let us test your courage, little mortal. The ground ruptured as tendrils of pure void shot toward Adrian. He dodged the first, barely, then sliced the second in half, the blue flame roaring like a living beast. The abyss shrieked. Seline lifted a trembling hand. Dark lightning spiraled around her fingers. She could destroy those tendrils with a thought. She could annihilate the fallen star itself. But she didn't move, because every time she used her new power, she felt herself slipping further away, further from who she was, further from Adrian. Fight it, Seline. Adrian shouted, leaping over another tendril. You're stronger than the abyss. No, she whispered, clutching her chest. The abyss is part of me now. Adrian landed, sliding across the shifting black floor as the fallen star descended like a collapsing mountain. Let me show you, human, it hissed, what your beloved has truly become. A claw of pure, cosmic fire shot toward Adrian. Seline moved, faster than a meteor falling from heaven. Her wings tore through the void, smashing into the fallen star's attack. The explosion cracked the realm open, tearing a gash of white light through the darkness. The fallen star recoiled in surprise. Seline turned toward Adrian, her monstrous form trembling, her glowing hands shaking violently. I can't hold this power, she whispered. It's burning me from the inside. Adrian, I don't know how much longer I can stay me. Adrian stepped toward her, slow, fearless. Then hold on to me, he said. Hold on to us. Her eyes widened, just before the fallen star shrieked. Enough. Darkness exploded outward like a tidal wave. Seline tried to shield Adrian. Adrian tried to reach her, but the force was too strong. They were ripped apart, thrown into opposite ends of the abyss. Adrian skidded across the shadows, his sword flickering violently. Seline slammed into a pillar of crystallized void, her monstrous wings collapsing around her. The fallen star appeared between them, blocking their view of each other. Your bond is your weakness, it snarled, and I will break it. Adrian roared, trying to rise, but tendrils of shadow wrapped around his limbs, pinning him to the abyss floor. Seline screamed his name, struggling against the abyss chains binding her wings and arms. Adrian. His voice tore through the void. Seline, don't give in. The fallen star lifted its claws, summoning a sphere of collapsing starlight. A weapon, a prison, a doom. When this strikes, it whispered, the princess will be unmade and reborn as the queen of the abyss. Seline's eyes filled with horror. Adrian, I'm scared, she whispered. Adrian strained against the shadows until blood ran down his arms, screaming, I'm coming to you. Seline, hold on. But he couldn't break free, and the fallen star lowered the sphere of cosmic destruction, straight toward her heart. The sphere of collapsing starlight hovered inches above Seline's chest, a miniature sun made of destruction, swirling with dark galaxies. Her monstrous form trembled uncontrollably, every vein of glowing red light flickering like a dying flame. She pressed back against the crystal pillar, claws digging into the void stone as if it could anchor her to reality. Don't, she whispered, voice cracking. Don't let it take me. Adrian thrashed against the shadows, binding him. Fire shot up his arms as the tendrils tightened, trying to crush the bone. Let her go, he roared. The fallen star didn't even look at him. It lowered the sphere another inch. Seline's chest arched involuntarily, light bursting from beneath her skin in painful pulses. Her scream tore through the abyss. Adrian felt something inside him snap. Not bone, not muscle, something deeper. His vision blurred. Fire roared through his blood. His sword, lying just a foot away, began to pulse with violent blue light, reacting to the storm inside him. The shadows holding him trembled. Seline's tearful eyes flickered toward him. Adrian, please. Her voice broke. The fallen star smiled. Watch, human. Watch your love become the doom of all worlds. It pressed the sphere in her chest. Seline convulsed, her wings snapping outward, her body twisting in agony as the abyss surged into her like a tidal void. No, Adrian gasped. His heartbeat thundered. Blue flames burst from his skin. The sword shuddered, levitating, then shot into his grasp like a meteor. Adrian's chains hissed, cracked. Then, with a roar that shook the entire abyss, Adrian tore free. He didn't run. He didn't hesitate. He exploded forward, blue fire blasting under his feet. The fallen star barely twisted its head before Adrian slammed into its side, the strike forming a shockwave that ripped the shadows apart. The sphere wavered. Seline collapsed to her knees. The void screamed. Adrian drove his flaming sword into the fallen star's chest. The explosion of blue fire lit the abyss like the birth of a star. The fallen star shrieked, reeling back. Its molten cracks ignited with chaotic energy. Adrian landed between it and Seline, chest heaving, sword blazing like a burning comet. The fallen star snarled. Impossible. No mortal can break free of the abyss. Adrian didn't blink. She's my wife. The abyss shook. The fallen star lunged. Adrian swung. Blue fire met cosmic shadow. The clash splitting the realm into rivers of light and darkness. But even as they battled, Seline lay on the ground behind him, trembling violently, her monstrous form flickering uncontrollably. She lifted a trembling hand toward him. Adrian. Her voice was barely audible. It's too late. I can feel myself slipping. The abyss, it's rewriting me. Adrian didn't turn, didn't dare. He could feel her fading. No, he said, forcing the fallen star back with a blazing strike. You're still you. I can hear it in your voice. Her breath shook. I won't be for long. Tears slid down her glowing face. I don't want to change into what they made me for. I don't want to become the abyss-made queen. Adrian blocked a crushing blow, sparks of blue and black scattering around him. You won't, he said through clenched teeth. Adrian. Her voice cracked. You can't win this fight. Not here. Not against this thing. Adrian stepped forward, fire roaring behind every heartbeat. I don't need to win. The fallen star paused, confused. Seline stared at him, struggling to breathe. What do you mean? Adrian looked at her for a single moment. A moment full of everything they had endured, everything they had lost, everything he still refused to surrender. I'm not here to win a war, he said quietly. I'm here to save you. The abyss trembled. The fallen star roared and charged, its entire body igniting with cosmic fury. Adrian raised his sword. Seline screamed. The fallen star struck, and reality shattered. A shockwave of impossible force blasted outward, tearing the abyss into swirling fragments of broken stars. Adrian and Seline were thrown into the void, spiraling away from each other as the realm collapsed around them. For a moment, for a breath, for a heartbeat, Adrian saw her reaching toward him. He reached back. Their fingers almost touched. Then the abyss swallowed them both, and everything went dark. Adrian didn't know if he was falling, or floating, or simply dissolving into the void. There was no up, no down, no direction, only darkness, an endless, suffocating, ancient darkness that pressed against his skin as if it wanted to seep into his bones. His fingers were still stretched forward, reaching for Seline's hand that had slipped through his grasp in the moment the abyss shattered. Seline, he whispered. The void swallowed his voice. Not a single echo returned. A moment ago, he had been fighting a cosmic god. A moment ago, he had held his flaming sword. A moment ago, he had been standing between the abyss and the woman he swore to protect. Now he drifted in nothingness, until a spark of blue light flickered in the distance. Adrian blinked. The light pulsed again, then again, like a heartbeat. The same heartbeat he had followed in the darkest battles of his life. The same heartbeat he had held close at night when Seline rested beside him. The same heartbeat he had sworn he'd never lose. Seline. He propelled himself toward it, not with limbs, not with strength, but with pure will. The void resisted, its cold tendrils pulling at him, trying to drag him back. But the spark of light grew brighter, closer, stronger. He reached for it, and then the darkness cracked. A blinding flash engulfed him. Adrian gasped as his feet slammed on his solid ground. He staggered, dropping to one knee. The air was cold, crisp, and real. He looked up. He stood in an ancient circular chamber carved from pale stone. Massive archways lined the edges, each filled with swirling darkness. Portals, perhaps, or cages to other realms. Strange runes glowed faintly on the floor, forming spiraling patterns that converged at the center. And there, lying unconscious at the heart of the runic circle, was Seline, not the monstrous abyss-made creature she had become, not the queen-shaped being forged by darkness, but Seline, her original form, her pale skin, her long silver-black hair brushing across the floor, her delicate armor cracked but intact, her wings, small, elegant, and unmistakably her own, folded weakly behind her. Adrian's breath caught. Seline. He rushed toward her, but the moment he stepped into the runic circle, the symbols flared to life. A shockwave of cold fire blasted outward. Adrian flew backward, slamming into a stone column with bone-rattling force. He groaned, pushing himself up. A voice echoed through the chamber, ancient and layered, yet oddly calm. Only those bound by the night blood may enter the sanctum. Adrian snapped his head toward the source. From one of the dark archways, a figure emerged. A tall, pale being clad in robes woven from starlight and shadow. Its eyes glowed violet, its hair long and silver like moonlight. Adrian tightened his grip on his sword, only to realize the sword wasn't in his hand. It wasn't on the floor. It wasn't anywhere. The being raised a hand gently. Do not fear. Your blade still exists. It is merely not welcome in this place. Adrian pushed himself to his feet. Who are you? He demanded. Where is Seline? What did you do to her? The being tilted its head slightly, as if studying him. I am Astron, it said, the last guardian of the Nightblood Sanctuary. Adrian's breathing slowed. Sanctuary. Is she safe? He asked, gaze locked on Seline's unconscious form. Astron nodded once. For now. Adrian's fist clenched. What do you mean, for now? Astron stepped closer, the air shimmering around their form. The abyss tried to override her, but something inside her resisted. Something powerful. Something that should not exist in any mortal heart. Adrian frowned. What? The guardian's violet eyes reflected a glow from the runes encircling Seline. You. Adrian froze. Astron continued. Your bond with her is ancient, though you do not remember it. Something in you rejected the abyss's claim on her soul. And in doing so, you nearly destroyed yourself. Adrian shook his head. No, this is about the curse in her blood, not me. Astron's expression didn't change. Mortals do not shatter chains forged by cosmic beings. Mortals do not ignite weapons meant for gods. Mortals do not survive the abyss between stars. Adrian stepped forward. What are you saying? Astron raised a hand toward Seline. The runes pulsed brighter. I am saying, the guardian whispered, that you, Adrian, are not entirely mortal. Silence filled the chamber. Adrian's heart pounded. I'm human, he said firmly. Astron's eyes softened, not with kindness, but with old, weary truth. You are human, but something sleeps within you. Something that awakened the moment you stepped into the abyss. Adrian's throat tightened. Seline stirred. Only a little. A faint whisper slipping from her lips. Adrian. He took a step toward her, and the runes roared, flaring like a cage. Astron lifted a hand. If you wish to reach her, you must prove you are strong enough to face the truth hidden in your own blood. Adrian glared. Then tell me what I have to do. Astron gestured to a distant archway, where darkness churned like a storm. Enter the trial of origin. Face what sleeps within you. And return if you can. Adrian looked at Seline, broken, trembling, barely clinging to herself. He clenched his jaw. I'll come back to you, he whispered. Then he stepped toward the archway, into the swirling darkness. As the portal devoured him whole, the darkness swallowed Adrian. But this darkness was different from the abyss. The abyss between stars was cold and infinite. This one was alive. It pulsed around him like a breathing creature. The air vibrated with a low hum, like a heartbeat buried deep beneath the world. Adrian landed on solid ground, if it could be called that. The floor was a shifting mirror of black stone and liquid light, reflecting twisted fragments of the sky above. A sky with no stars, only swirling storms of memory. Figures formed in the dark clouds, shadows of his past, battles he had fought, moments he wanted to forget. Adrian clenched his fists. What is this place? A voice answered from everywhere and nowhere. The trial of origin. Adrian spun around, but no figure stood behind him. The voice echoed inside his mind. Here, your blood will reveal itself. The ground cracked beneath him, a circle of light expanding under his feet like a glowing sun. Symbols he'd never seen before pulsed around him. symbols that hurt to look at. His head throbbed. The light grew brighter. The air grew hotter. Stop! Adrian gasped, clutching his skull. What is this? The voice ignored his pain. Open your eyes, Adrian. The world around him twisted, the landscape swirling like liquid metal. Then it settled, and Adrian froze. He stood in the middle of a battlefield he recognized. Bodies lay everywhere. Human soldiers, vampire knights. The ground split with fire and blood, the sky torn open by magic. He knew this place. It was the night his kingdom fell, the night he lost everything he had ever known. His chest tightened. No, he whispered. Why show me this? The voice replied, your truth lies hidden in memory. Adrian walked forward, barely breathing. He saw the burning watchtower, the fractured castle walls, the armor he once wore lying in pieces beside a fallen commander. Then, he saw his younger self, a boy of 16, covered in dirt and fear, dragging himself through the chaos, clutching a broken spear. Adrian remembered this moment, the hopelessness, the terror. But something was wrong. In the memory, young Adrian wasn't looking at the enemies. He was running from something behind him, something huge, something glowing. Adrian's heartbeat quickened. What was chasing me? The clouds above him swirled violently. The battlefield faded, replaced by a towering wall of blinding light crashing down behind his younger self. Not light. Fire. Blue fire. Just like the fire in his sword. Adrian swallowed hard. What is that? The voice answered calmly. The truth. The fire tore through the memory like a tidal wave. But instead of burning, the flames enveloped the younger Adrian, and then burst outward, blasting soldiers, monsters, and stone apart. Adrian's breath caught. That's impossible. I didn't do that. I couldn't have. But the memory said otherwise. The boy screamed. A shock wave of blue fire erupted from his chest, and everything around him was obliterated. Adrian staggered backward, horrified. No, that wasn't me. That couldn't have been me. The voice grew more distinct, more human, and more familiar. You were never just human, Adrian. Adrian spun around and froze. A figure stood behind him, tall, clad in ancient armor marked with the same symbols he had seen glowing beneath the Nightblood Sanctuary. A sword of pure blue fire resting on his back. Adrian stared. His lungs forgot to breathe. The warrior had his same eyes, his same face, his same build. Older, stronger, carved from battle and darkness. Adrian whispered, Who are you? The warrior stepped into the light. He said, am what you were meant to become. Adrian's stomach dropped. His hand shook. This wasn't a memory. This wasn't an illusion. It was him, the man he never became. The truth locked inside his blood. The origin he wasn't ready to face. Adrian backed away. No, this is wrong. I'm just a soldier. I'm just a man. The warrior's voice thundered like a blade, striking the heavens. You are the last heir of the Starforged. You carry the blood of those who stood against the abyss long before your world was born. And you, Adrian, are the key the fallen star fears most. Adrian stared at him, trembling. Why didn't I know any of this? Why didn't anyone tell me? Why did you let me forget? The warrior's expression softened, painfully. Because if you remembered who you are, your true power would have awakened long before you met her. Adrian's eyes widened. Seline, the warrior nodded. Your heart chose her before your destiny did. Adrian's fists tightened. Then tell me how to save her. The warrior drew the sword of blue fire from his back. The same kind of blade Adrian summoned in the abyss. You want to save her? Then you must surpass me. You must earn the power in your blood. Adrian stepped back. You want me to fight you? The warrior raised the blazing sword. No, I want you to survive me. The world exploded in blue fire, and the trial of origin began. Blue fire roared around Adrian like a storm, trying to tear him apart from the inside. The warrior, his older self, his hidden truth, stepped through the flames, completely untouched. His eyes glowed with the calm, terrifying certainty of someone who had mastered every piece of power Adrian was only beginning to understand. Adrian gritted his teeth, raising his fists as the flames whipped around him. I'm not afraid of you, he said. The warrior tilted his head slightly. You should be. He moved. Not fast, not sudden, but with such perfect precision that Adrian barely saw it before a boot slammed into his chest, sending him flying across the burning arena. Adrian rolled, coughing, ribs aching. He forced himself back to his feet. The warrior didn't rush, didn't boast, didn't taunt. He simply waited. What? Adrian spat. Why fight me? Why now? The warrior raised his sword slightly, letting the blue flames trail across the air like starlight. Because only in battle does truth reveal itself. Because power without pain is meaningless. And because saving Seline will require more than love. Adrian stepped forward, fist clenched. I don't need to be you to save her. The warrior's eyes narrowed. Then show me. He dashed forward. A streak of blue, bright as a comet. Adrian leaped sideways just in time, the blade missing him by inches, carving a burning crack through the arena floor. Heat slammed into Adrian's side. He bit back a shout and pivoted, jabbing at the warrior's ribs. His fist met armor that felt like forged star metal. Pain shot his arm. The warrior caught Adrian's wrist and threw him. Adrian hit the ground hard, sliding across the shimmering stone. But he pushed himself up again. I'm not giving up. The warrior nodded once, almost approvingly. Good. Then you're ready. He raised his sword skyward. The blue flames crackled and grew brighter. Then the arena shattered. The sky burst open. Light poured down like a waterfall, turning the battlefield into a swirling storm of fire and memory. Adrian covered his eyes. When he opened them again, he stood in a new place. A ruined throne room. A cathedral of broken marble pillars. Shattered stained glass. A floor stained with ancient blood. Seline's world. Her kingdom. Her past. Adrian's breath caught. He saw a younger Seline kneeling before her father, the vampire king, her eyes full of terror. He was forcing her hands onto an ancient stone altar, carved with the same symbols as the Nightblood Sanctuary. Adrian whispered. This is when the curse was placed on her. The warrior stood beside him now, not attacking, simply watching. Good, he said quietly. See it. Understand it. Adrian clenched his fists as the memory played out. The vampire king sliced his own palm, blood dripping onto Seline's wrists, chanting the old pact. Seline cried out, trying to pull away. No, Adrian whispered, shaking. Stop, someone stop him. But this was memory, unchangeable, fixed. The king pressed her hands to the altar, and the runes flared, burning into her skin. Seline screamed. Adrian couldn't breathe. What kind of father does this? The warrior's jaw tightened. The kind raised in fear of the abyss. The kind who believed sacrificing his daughter's future would save his kingdom. Adrian shook with fury. He damned her. He didn't know the full truth, the warrior said. None of them did. The memory shifted again, the throne room fading into swirling shadows. Adrian and the warrior were standing on a platform, suspended in the void. A single glowing crystal floated in front of them. A crystal containing the essence of the curse. It pulsed like a heartbeat. The warrior turned to Adrian. This, he said, is the core of Seline's curse. The thing the fallen star is trying to awaken. If it succeeds, she will not survive. The curse will become her. Adrian stepped closer to the crystal, reaching for it. The warrior placed a hand on his chest, stopping him. Not yet. Adrian's eyes darkened. Why not? The warrior lifted his sword, pointing it at Adrian. Because to save her, you must destroy this. Adrian nodded. Then let me destroy it. You can't, the warrior said softly. Not as you are. Adrian clenched his teeth. Then make me stronger. The warrior's expression changed. For the first time, a flicker of pain crossed his face. I can't give you strength, he said, but I can force you to awaken it. He raised his sword again. Adrian prepared to fight, but instead of attacking him, the warrior stabbed the blade into his own chest. Adrian gasped. Blue fire erupted outward, engulfing the arena. The warrior's form split into pure energy, rushing toward Adrian, screaming through the air like a dying star. The flame struck Adrian's body. He collapsed to his knees as the fire tore through him, burning, breaking, rewriting. He screamed, and the voice of the warrior whispered inside his mind. Become what you were born to be. The flames consumed him. His vision went white. His heartbeat thundered, and something ancient woke inside him. Something that wasn't human, was never human, could never be human. The trial of origin was over, and Adrian was no longer the man who entered it. Adrian's body convulsed as the flames tore through every piece of him. Not normal flames, not magic flames. These were origin flames, fire older than the stars, forged from the first light that ever pushed back the abyss. He gasped as the heat burned through his veins, carving new pathways where blood once flowed. His heartbeat thundered like war drums, shaking the very ground beneath him. The trial realm flickered. The sky split into cracks of white fire. Symbols swirled beneath him, reshaping themselves to reflect the awakening inside him. Adrian screamed again, but this time the sound shook the entire dimension. It wasn't a human scream. It was something else, something deeper, something ancient. The last echoes of the warrior's voice whispered through the flames. Your blood remembers. Your power returns. Rise, Starforged. And then the voice faded. The flames collapsed into Adrian's chest, and suddenly everything went silent. Absolutely silent. Adrian opened his eyes. The world around him crystallized into clarity. He could see the currents of energy flowing through the trial realm, like rivers of light beneath reality's skin. He could hear the hum of ancient magic vibrating in the air. He could feel the weight of his power he never knew he carried, settling inside his soul like a blazing star. He slowly rose to his feet. When he breathed, blue fire leaked gently from his lungs. When he blinked, fragments of starlight flickered across his vision. When he lifted his hands, they glowed with a quiet, terrifying power. Adrian whispered, "What am I?" A voice behind him answered, "Exactly what she needs." Adrian turned. The warrior was gone, but his armor remained, floating, waiting. A suit of star-forged metal shaped with perfect symmetry, silver, black, and glowing with faint blue cracks of living fire. The design matched the symbols Adrian had seen in the sanctuary, in the battlefield memory, and etched across the blade he once wielded. It was armor fit for a guardian of realms, a weapon against the abyss. His armor. Adrian reached out. The armor dissolved into blue particles, and in a rush of fire, it poured into him, forming over his body piece by piece. The chest plate locked around him like a second skin. The gauntlets fused with the lines of fire running beneath his veins. The pauldrons shimmered with starsteel light. And on his back, a sword reformed. Not the same blade as before. This one was denser, heavier, alive, forged from the flames of his own soul. He drew it slowly. The blue blade roared like a living star, awakening after centuries. Adrian felt its power vibrate through his bones. This was no mere weapon. This was the true Starforged blade. The trial realm trembled beneath his feet. A portal tore open in front of him. The same swirling darkness that had swallowed him when he left the sanctuary. But this time, the darkness didn't feel hostile. It felt afraid. Adrian stepped toward it. His voice was steady. "I'm coming, Seline." He walked forward, and the portal exploded into blinding light. He materialized in the sanctuary. Astron, the guardian, turned sharply, eyes widening. The runes around Seline flared violently as Adrian appeared. The very air bent around him, reacting to the force he carried. Astron whispered in shock, "Starforged." Adrian didn't respond. He stepped toward Seline, and this time, the runes around the circle didn't reject him. They bowed, dimmed, allowed him through. Astron stared, stunned. No one should be able to enter the Nightblood circle. Adrian knelt beside Seline. Her breathing was shallow. Her wings trembled. Her skin flickered between her true form and the monstrous abyss-made shape. She was losing herself. Adrian touched her cheek gently. A spark of blue light flowed from his fingers, and her shaking eased. Her eyes fluttered open slowly. When she saw him, her breath hitched. "Adrian." Her voice was barely a whisper. "You're glowing." He smiled softly. "So are you." A tear slipped from her eye. I thought I lost you." Adrian shook his head. "You could never lose me." Astron stepped closer, urgency replacing shock. "Adrian, listen to me. The fallen star is reforming in the abyss as we speak. Its power is accelerating. If it completes its rebirth, both realms will fall." Adrian rose slowly, lifting Seline with effortless strength, holding her close. "I'll finish this," he said. Astron shook his head. "You cannot fight it alone. Seline must be with you. Her Nightblood power, and your Starforged power, only united can undo the abyss." Seline looked away in fear. I can't control the abyss inside me." Adrian touched her forehead gently, blue fire whispering along his fingers. "You don't have to control it alone." Seline met his gaze, and for the first time since her transformation, her eyes softened with hope. Astron raised a hand, forming a portal. "One path remains. The final battle. The final choice. The abyss waits." Adrian took Seline's hand. Together, he whispered. Seline nodded, wings trembling as she stepped beside him. And without looking back, they entered the portal to face the fallen star. The portal spat them into chaos. The abyss stretched endlessly before them, a black sea of roiling shadows and fire, twisting into impossible shapes. The fallen star hovered above, reborn in its full, terrifying glory. It had grown larger than before, molten cracks of blue and violet fire racing across its body. Its countless eyes glowed with malice, scanning the void. Its voice roared, splitting the darkness. "You dare return, little mortals." Adrian stepped forward, the Starforged blade blazing in his hand. Selene's wings flared, a mixture of her nightblood energy and abyss resistance pulsing around her. Together, they were light in the heart of the void. The fallen star laughed, a sound like collapsing galaxies. "You think two fragile hearts can challenge me? You are nothing. Your love, your hope, insignificant." Adrian's grip on the sword tightened. "Love isn't fragile," he said. "It's the strongest force in existence." Seline stepped forward beside him, aura crackling. "I'm not afraid of you anymore," she whispered, voice steady. "The abyss inside me, it's mine to wield." The fallen star snarled, claws slicing through the void, sending waves of destructive energy toward them. Adrian leaped, sword cutting through a shadow tentacle midair. Seline followed, her wings beating like thunder, sending arcs of pure nightblood lightning across the battlefield. Their attacks synchronized. Every strike from Adrian was met with a counter from Seline. Every burst of energy from the fallen star was answered by their combined power. The abyss shrieked as if the void itself was alive, twisting and reforming to crush them. But Adrian's fire burned hotter than the abyssal shadows. Selene's power flowed stronger than any curse could suppress. The fallen star's voice echoed across the endless void. "You will fail. You cannot destroy what has existed before time itself." Adrian's blue flame erupted brighter. He roared, swinging his sword in a massive arc. Selene's energy fused with it, creating a sphere of blinding light that collided with the fallen star's molten body. The explosion shattered chunks of the void, sending debris flying in all directions. The fallen star staggered, reeling from the combined attack. Its body cracked along the molten lines. Its multiple eyes glared at Adrian and Seline with pure rage. "You cannot defeat me," it bellowed. Adrian looked at Seline, eyes blazing with determination. "This ends now." Seline nodded, energy spiraling around her like a hurricane. "You're right." Together, they rushed forward, him with his Starforged blade, her with her nightblood power. Their combined energy formed a lance of blinding blue light. They drove it straight into the chest of the fallen star. The impact ripped through the void. The abyss screamed. The stars in the void shattered. The fallen star let out a deafening roar. And then, everything went silent. Adrian and Seline hovered in the void, breathing heavily. The fallen star had dissolved into nothingness, leaving only fragments of molten light floating away. Seline collapsed against Adrian, exhausted. I thought I'd lose myself," she whispered. Adrian held her tight. "You never did. You held on to me." Selene's wings slowly folded around them, healing. Her glow softened, her true form returning fully. Adrian smiled, exhaustion and relief mixing. "We survived." In the distance, the Nightblood Sanctuary and the void beyond began to stabilize. The curse in Selene's blood had been purged by their combined power. The abyss had been stopped. For now, peace returned. Seline looked up at Adrian, eyes shining. "You married a human, for a truce," she said softly. "And in the end, it was that love that saved everything." Adrian chuckled. "And now, I guess humans aren't so weak after all." They laughed together, the void around them slowly dissolving into calm starlight. Hand in hand, wings wrapped around them, Adrian and Seline began the long journey home. The war was over. The truce held, and the star forged and the Nightblood walked into the light, stronger, united, unstoppable. Adrian and Seline landed gently on the remnants of the Nightblood Sanctuary. The shattered pillars glowed faintly under the twin light of his star-forged fire and her restored Nightblood aura. The air was calm, silent, healing. For the first time in centuries, peace had returned. Seline looked around, touching the ruins softly. "I thought all of this would be gone forever," she whispered. "But we made it." Adrian held her close, the sword now resting on his back, its blue fire dimmed but alive. "I promised," he said quietly. No matter what the abyss threw at us, no matter what power I had to awaken, I promised I'd save you. Seline smiled faintly, tears glimmering in her eyes. And you did. Not just me, everything. The truce, the worlds, even yourself. They stood in silence for a moment, the ruins around them glowing softly as if acknowledging their victory. The Nightblood Sanctuary was no longer a prison or a battleground. It was a symbol of unity, love, hope, strength. Astron appeared beside them, still radiating calm authority. You have surpassed the trial of origin, Astron said, voice gentle but powerful. Not just in strength, but in heart. You two have rewritten fate itself. Adrian nodded, still holding Seline's hand tightly. We fought together. That's what matters. Seline looked up at the sky, the first stars breaking through the lingering shadows of the abyss. For the first time, I can truly see the light, she whispered. Adrian smiled, lifting her chin gently. And you'll never have to fight it alone again. A soft breeze carried through the sanctuary, brushing their faces. It whispered promises of a world finally free from fear. The fallen star's reign was over. The abyss had been defeated. Seline leaned against him, wings folding around them both like a protective embrace. This is the start of something new, isn't it? She asked. Adrian looked at her, determination blazing in his eyes, tempered with warmth. Yes, he said firmly. The start of our story. Together. Forever. They watched the first dawn after the battle rise over the horizon. Golden light spilling across the ruins, painting the remnants of war with hope. For the first time in centuries, they smiled freely, unafraid, unbroken, unstoppable. And so, the vampire princess and the star-forged human stepped forward into the light. The worlds they saved, the love they defended, and the bond that defied fate, all glowing as testament to one truth. Some love is stronger than darkness, stronger than gods, stronger than the abyss. Together, they would face whatever came next. Together, nothing could stop them, and the stars themselves seemed to shine just for them.